Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today, and I'm bringing you another questionnaire, and I guess I'll probably name this one my over 10,000 question special, because now, unlike the other video that I did 2 weeks ago, I now have over 10,000 questions, guys. So without wasting any more time, I went back about a month ago. I'm sorry, actually 4 months ago, when I checked about some of these questions, because I feel like it's not fair for me to answer the most recent questions, because I'll eventually get to those, and I'll answer some in some pockets, because you know, it's not easy to answer all these questions. So let's get straight into all of these questions. Alright, what would you do if you were somehow transported to the Dragon Ball universe? Would you seek out the Z Fighters or just chill with dinosaurs? This is a very interesting question. If I was transported to the Dragon Ball universe, I wouldn't seek out the Z Fighters or chill with dinosaurs. I'd probably just hang out in Capsule Corp and try to make money, or become like, maybe like, I don't know, go to college or something, because I'm not a fighter, guys. I love Dragon Ball Z, I love the show, but I'm not a fighter. I wouldn't want to fight. I mean, if there's one thing that I would want to learn how to do, it's maybe learn how to fly, you know, just in case, you know, my car ever broke down or something, or you know, maybe do instant transmission. But I'm really not into like actually fighting in real life. So I wouldn't want to chill with dinosaurs, because I'd get eaten. So there's my answer. Alright, Qaaman, some guy wants to fight me because I like Dragon Ball Z. If I get beat up, will I get a Zenkai boost? Well, if you're a Saiyan, you will definitely get a Zenkai boost. Alright, Piccolo was much weaker than Super Saiyan Vegeta when he fought Android 18, and 18 destroyed Vegeta. But when he fused with Kami, he was on the level of first form Cell. He'll probably get stronger. How does this make sense, since Kami has a power level of like 200? Has Kami been hiding his power or what? Alright, it has nothing to do with power. It has to do with the fact that Piccolo and Kami separated from being the original Namek. Now, obviously, because Piccolo got strong, that obviously made their fused form a lot stronger. But really, because they were separated, they were never really in their true, pure Namekian state. And that's essentially what Krillin was referring to as they could become a super Namek, because when they're together, they're a lot they become pure. And that's essentially why when Piccolo fused with Kami, he became so much stronger. And in some ways, I mean, he kind of became godlike because of Kami's influence. So that's essentially why when they fused, they got so much stronger. Alright. How come when Goku was forming the Spirit Bomb in the Frieza Saga, it was in the upper atmosphere, but when he did it against Kid Buu, it formed right over his head? Let me move up the screen a little bit. Alright. Well, the thing is that, I mean, it's really all have to do to animation. I mean, there really is no difference. I think Mr. Protoman, I think you made a good observation, but I don't really think much of this. I just think that maybe he was trying to hide it so Frieza wouldn't notice, but honestly, I don't really think it made a difference. I just think it had to do with the animation editing. Alright, let's see. How strong do you think Android 16 would be if Bulma and his dad made him stronger when they fixed him? Do you think he could stand a chance against second form Cell? Absolutely not. I don't think they upgraded him. I just think they repaired him and, you know, got rid of his programming to kill Goku. But I don't think 16 was essentially upgraded in a way. But I mean, maybe if they did, maybe they could make him stronger. I mean, they're geniuses too. But I mean, I just don't see how they could have made him that much stronger in that short amount of time. I mean, considering it took years to make him. Alright, let's see. What if in the Buu Saga, Akira Toriyama went through with his original plans to have Babidi turn Piccolo Majin instead of Vegeta? Do you think it would be easier or harder for Goku to fight and or kill Piccolo because of him being totally overwhelmed by Babidi's magic? I love your videos. I actually answered this question in my previous questionnaire, but I'll be nice and I'll just answer it again. I think that it wouldn't make a difference, because I understand Piccolo's a great fighter, and I just recently ironically made a video about him, about how strong was Piccolo at the end of the series. But honestly, I mean, you gotta consider that Piccolo is still so much weaker than Goku and the rest of the other Saiyans. He really wouldn't make that much of an impact, and he really wouldn't really cause much of a fight so that he would give energy. So honestly, I don't see how Piccolo would make a big difference in the series. Super Saiyan God Goku and Super Saiyan God Vegeta versus Whis. Gotta go with, I mean, if you're talking about if they fuse, maybe they can beat him. But if you're talking individually, two weaker guys going up against Whis, I don't think they stand a chance. Because Toriyama said that comparing Goku, Whis, and Beerus, Goku would be a 6, Beerus would be a 10, and Whis would be a 15. So, I mean, considering Vegeta would be around Goku's power, probably even a little bit weaker, I mean, if you just put them together, they wouldn't make a difference at all. So I definitely think they wouldn't stand a chance. Individually, but if they fuse, they probably could stand a really good chance. In Dragon Ball Multiverse, who do you think would win Vegito versus Gas Korloth, the one with all dynamics fused into? I remember it. I've read Multiverse maybe about a month ago. I'm a little bit behind because I always focus more on making my own videos, but I think that Vegito, depending on what point in the series, I mean, the Vegito that you're probably talking about, if I remember correctly, the one that, you know, basically had like the baby bra and had a child with Bulma. I think that Vegito, after all those years of training and just being fused together, I think he could destroy him in a heartbeat. As a matter of fact, I mean, considering the fact that they said Gas Korloth could beat Majin Buu, it would probably be a good fight. But I mean, we've never seen anywhere near the true power of Vegito, so I'm gonna have to go with Vegito. What if Vegeta turned Super Saiyan 3 with the help of the Majins from Babidi? What if he turned Super Saiyan 3 with the help of the Majin powers from Babidi? I don't think the Majin powers ever made him a Super Saiyan 2 in the first place. A lot of people disagree with me with that, but that's just my personal opinion. I just think it enhanced his power. But I do think Vegeta was able to turn Super Saiyan 2 prior. That's just my personal opinion. There really isn't any evidence to support that. However, I do think if he could turn Super Saiyan 3, Goku would probably have to go Super Saiyan 3. And it would make it so much harder on both of them. Maybe Goku would be better because he has more control over it. But, I mean, you gotta consider that when you go higher in your Super Saiyan stages, it makes you more reluctant to reasoning, and you become a lot more aggressive. So with two Super Saiyan 3s, I'm considering they probably would have a much more hardcore fight. And at the end of the day, I mean, Majin Buu would have been pooped out in like a second because of the massive amount of energy that was taking place. But if they can both go Super Saiyan 3, then, I mean, at the end of the day, whoever wins between the Goku-Vegeta fight, and then they get the Senzu Bean, they just go off and kill Fat Buu with no problem. So, really, it really wouldn't make that much of a difference, Kaisen Jack. Just imagine, okay, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta fused with Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, power level over 9,000, but only billions and billions times stronger. Alright, well, that's impossible, but, I mean, unless you took, like, a Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and then, you know, went to the future or the past, and then took another Super Saiyan 4 Vegito, which is really hard because they don't have tails, but if they somehow did by any hypothetical situation, they'd be really strong. Next, what does the Fox say parody? What does the Scouter say? Well, the Scouter says over 9,000. Alright, first world problems. The Pringles can is just out of reach. Don't know what you're saying, but I'm just gonna move on. Alright, Goku beginning of Buu Saga versus 17. I mean, it's implied in Battle of Gods that Goku was not stronger than Frieza in his base form, even in Battle of Gods. So, because of that, I'm gonna have to say 17, because 17's way stronger than Frieza. But then again, in GT, I don't remember exactly where I read this, but I read somewhere or heard somewhere where they said that Goku at the beginning of GT was as strong as his Super Saiyan 3 form in his base form. I don't remember where I read that, but I heard it somewhere. So if that's true, then Goku must have gotten a huge gap in that 10-year gap. But I mean, at the beginning of the Buu Saga, I'm going to have to go with 17. Bills and Whis fusion versus Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Super Saiyan 4 Vegito fusion. Oh my goodness. I had to say Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Super Saiyan 4 Vegito fusion because, I mean, if you're considering GT a part of the original series, which others are definitely not going to consider it. If you do, then if you're fusing two Super Saiyan 4 fusions, I'm gonna have to go with them, considering the fact that GT is so far in the future ahead of Battle of Gods. Now here's the thing, guys. I know people are always going to say Super Saiyan God is stronger, and I understand that. However, if you are saying that Super Saiyan 4 and Super Saiyan God exist in the same universe, then it's impossible for Super Saiyan God to be stronger than Super Saiyan 4, considering Super Saiyan 4 was taking place after. So why didn't Goku go Super Saiyan God in the future? It doesn't make sense. But it's obviously because Toriyama probably didn't consider GT when he was making Battle of Gods. But if they're in the same universe, I'm gonna have to go with the double Super Saiyan 4 Super Fusion. I mean, that's just crazy, but that's just how it is. Can you give us a demonstration of you crying like a bitch? Alright, there we go. King Vegeta versus Bardock. Well, it was implied that Bardock had gotten stronger than King Vegeta after he got that Zenkai boost after Dodoria had beaten him up. So I'm gonna have to go with Bardock. But I mean, it's really up for grabs, considering the fact that, you know, they were saying how he was a low-class Saiyan and he was getting so much stronger. I definitely am going to have to go with Bardock if we're going by the actual Bardock, the father of Goku's special. Now, if we're going by the Dragon Ball Minus story with Gine, I'm going to have to go with King Vegeta because all of that Zenkai stuff never took place. Favorite NFL team? The Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins #1. Alright, so is Battle of Gods canon to the manga, yes or no? Okay. If you're talking about the original manga, no, because Battle of Gods was not in the original manga. However, I did remember reading somewhere that they're creating a Battle of Gods manga, so if that is taking place, then because Toriyama created it, I'm gonna have to say that it is canon, if the manga actually comes out, but as of right now, no. But I'm only basing this off of the original manga. Alright. What if Goku was real? Well, if Goku was real, then, I mean, it depends on what point in time he would have been born. I mean, because he does have a regular lifespan, unless he becomes immortal. If he was born in, like, let's say, like, the 2000s now, then, I mean, that wouldn't mean anything. But because Goku would have offsprings who would be Super Saiyans, a lot of the world problems would have been solved. For example, if Goku was born in like the 1920s and then like went off to fight like Hitler, there would be like no World War II. And a lot of earthly problems would have been solved. So, I mean, considering the fact that, you know, real life really doesn't have that many astronomical destroying aliens or androids trying to wipe out humanity, Goku would probably just make it easy for everybody. Taking all Dragon Ball related what ifs, how many universes should exist? Taking multiverse into consideration, into what universe would Battle of Gods be a continuation to? Nerd Gohan is from GT Universe, just to be clear. Okay. There's no way I could possibly answer your question, although it seems like a good question, because I can't tell you how many universes should exist. I mean, I get a lot of questions, you know, related to Dragon Ball Z, and I really appreciate it, but some questions, there's just nothing I can base my answer off of. I base my answers off of things that exist in Dragon Ball Z, so I can't just make up something. But I mean, so I mean, there really is nothing I can say. I mean, taking multiverse into consideration, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, because that's just fan fiction. So I apologize, but this really is an impossible question to answer. If somebody can answer this question, please say it in the comment section below. Blackenfist is a salad man who will crush the world with his dance skills and make everything but evolution canon and then burn it. He will then conquer Neptune, Pluto, and Mars. The only way we can stop him is if we have a great day and then Ginyu pose. Alright, well, I'll let Blackenfist know this. Is Blackenfist Santa Claus? Ask him. Ask Blackenfist on his Ask.fm if Blackenfist is Santa Claus. Thundershot 69 power level. Oh, it's obvious. Thundershot 69's power level is 69. Alright, Jack's Blade power level. Well, he works out a lot, so I'd put him at around like maybe a 10 to 15. He's a pretty athletic guy, so he's definitely stronger than the average human. So I'm gonna say if the average power level would be like a 5 to 7, I'd put Jax at like maybe a 10 to 15. Because he's a pretty strong dude. And he's young, so he can still get stronger. Blackenfist power level. Alright, these are some weird questions. Alright, Blackenfist power level. I mean, he seems like a pretty regular guy. I'd put Blackenfist as like, maybe like, I don't know, a 4. You know, a farmer is probably a little bit stronger than the average guy, so I'd put Blackenfist at a 4. Gerald Goodwin power level. Alright, Gerald Goodwin was a troll. I made a quick video about him a long time ago. I was just having fun. Apparently his girlfriend, you know, actually took me really serious and she was upset in the comment section. I didn't mean harm to Gerald. I was just having fun. We all have a little bit of fun. Gerald Goodwin seems like a pretty normal guy, so I mean, I put him at like a 4 too. Qaaman power level. I'm not very athletic. I'm not very strong. I'm probably a little bit weaker than average, so I'd give myself a 3 to 4. But I wouldn't say I'm weak. I just say I'm normal. I'm not like, I'm just a guy. I don't really work out that much, so, but I'm not overweight. I'm like normal sized. I'm actually relatively skinny too, so I'm gonna have to go with, I don't know. I'll go with a 4 or 3.5. I don't know. Who is Qaaman? Who is stronger, Yusuke or Hiei? Well, I mean, obviously, Yusuke is much stronger. I mean, considering the fact that he can combine like his human energy with his spirit energy, something that Hiei can't do, and Toguro did say that human energy was actually more powerful than demon energy when you can harness it more, but the fact that demon energy is stronger in more circumstances is because the average demon is stronger than the average human. So because of that, I'm gonna have to go with Yusuke, considering the fact that another thing, Yusuke is the protagonist, and it was implied that he was the strongest, considering the fact that he did beat Sensui, and after training with Ryzen, he looked heads and shoulders above the rest. Mr. Bean versus Goku. I don't know who Mr. Bean is. Sorry, so I'm gonna have to say Goku just out of default. What if Nappa survived instead of Vegeta? I don't know. How is this possible? I mean, what's this? Whenever you're giving me what ifs, you gotta give me the scenario in which it was possible. I can't see how Nappa would have survived instead of Vegeta. And if he did, he wouldn't make any difference for them on Namek. So if he did survive in some hypothetical means, then they would have been fucked when they got to Namek, because remember, Vegeta was more rebellious and more willing to actually, you know, work with the rest of the Z fighters. Nappa's so weak, he wouldn't have made a difference against Kui and the Ginyu Force, so I say that they would have been screwed. What's longer, Power Pole or Super Saiyan 3 Raditz is here? Power Pole. Spider-Man versus Chapter 1 Goku. Goku, because he took a bullet, something Spider-Man can't do. I mean, he took a bullet to the head, actually, so I'm gonna have to say Goku. But, I mean, in terms of, I mean, Spider-Man's really strong, but, I mean, he can't take bullets. Terminator versus Chapter 1 Goku. I mean, I'm gonna probably have to say, I mean, it depends which Terminator, because there's much more advanced Terminators. I'm gonna go with the Terminator, because if you're going with the really, really advanced forms that can like shoot like fucking fire and all that shit, I mean, I don't remember. I haven't seen Terminator in so long. I'm forgetting their powers, but I mean, Goku at that point could take a bullet, but I mean, they have like the more advanced Terminators probably have some really, really advanced techniques. But who knows? Maybe Goku is stronger than them, and you know, by like a couple chapters, Goku would be stronger. So I'm probably gonna just have to go with Goku. I mean, the ability to take bullets is something that's really impressive. Mr. Satan beat the shit out of Whis off screen. I'm sure he can. Who's the strongest pure Namekian? Nameless Namekian or Nail? I'm gonna have to say with the Nameless Namekian, because I mean, Piccolo did say that he was the Nameless Namekian, so I'm gonna have to give him credit. But to Nail's credit, he did help Piccolo get stronger in the Nail Piccolo Kami equation, so gotta give Nail some credit into adding to that. Who do you think will be the MVP this year in the NBA? In my opinion, Rose LeBron. Alright, so you asked this question 4 months ago. Rose is definitely not an MVP candidate right now. LeBron is an MVP candidate, but he's not having his best of seasons. As of right now, if you were to ask me my top 3 NBA MVP candidates, I would say number 1 would be Steph Curry, number 2 James Harden, number 3 John Wall, and then 4th I would probably put LeBron. John Wall's having a very underrated season, and Anthony Davis is actually, I would probably put Anthony Davis above everybody on the list, but the reason why I would probably put him 5th, I'm sorry, maybe even 6th after LeBron is because his team isn't doing so great, and regular season does have to do a lot with it, but at the same time, LeBron's playing in the East, which makes his life a lot easier. So there's my piece, Nitro. By the way, Nitro, I notice you're all over my comment section. I appreciate you being active. How far do you see the Heat going this year into the season? I think they can make some noise even without LeBron. What do you think? Alright, well, you asked this question 4 months ago. I think our record right now is like 20-29 or 21-29. Most recently we lost to the Spurs by like 13 points yesterday. It really pissed me off. I don't think we're going to be a very good team this year, and I'm trying to be unbiased. Obviously, the Heat is my team. I want us to be great, but it's obvious that we've been dealing with some serious unfortunate injuries. I mean, Deng has been injured for several games. Wade has been injured for a lot of games. Bosch missed a lot of games too earlier in the season. And there were points where we didn't even have Bosch or Wade. I mean, we lost Josh McRoberts, who was supposed to be a really productive player. Danny Granger, I mean, he's very inconsistent. Hassan Whiteside has proven some good minutes, but he's actually gotten injured twice too. We've dealt with some serious injuries to some of our best players, and I think that's one of the primary reasons. I don't think we could win a championship if we were healthy, but I definitely think we can make some noise. But I think all of our injuries have definitely been plaguing us. So I say that if at most we make to the playoffs, we're like a first round knockout team, because we're probably not going to get a seed higher than 6th. And then because of that, that basically means that the teams like Washington, Toronto, or Atlanta are going to eat us for breakfast. I hate to say it, but I'm just being honest. Opinion on how far OKC will go. I love the basketball questions. Now that Durant is injured, do you think Westbrook can carry the team without Durant for 6 to 8 weeks? Well, you asked this question 4 months ago. So right now, Durant and Westbrook are both back. And they most recently, Nitro, they lost to I think it's the Pelicans. Yeah, they lost to the Pelicans, and Davis made like a really ridiculous, crazy 3-point shot to win the game. I think OKC can make the playoffs. They just have to go on a really good run. Phoenix and I believe New Orleans is ahead of them too. Phoenix and New Orleans are ahead, but not by much. I think that OKC is capable of going on a run because they have 2 superstars who can both put up 25 to 30 points per game each. And Ibaka's no scrub, so I definitely say OKC. What's the food like in Antarctica? Well, there's a lot of canned foods, because remember, I whenever I stay in Antarctica, I usually live on like a plant with a bunch of other scientists and my dad. So a lot of the food that we actually have here is like maybe canned goods. There is some, you know, there's like a very, very small cafeteria in the lab, next to the lab, where we eat like basic foods and stuff. But really, there are no like major chefs here. Like basically every single person, with the exception of me, whenever I go to Antarctica, is actually a chef. So I'm sorry, is actually a scientist. So I mean, there's no real delicacies there. I really think that Dragon Ball is the best anime manga of all time. Do you think the same? Well, I wouldn't make all these videos if I didn't think it was. But yeah, I definitely think it is. I think Yu Yu Hakusho, to be honest, is better in some other aspects. I think Dragon Ball Z is the best because of how it impacted history. But in terms of being richer, in terms of character development, I think Yu Yu Hakusho did a lot more in less episodes, and I do think my Yu Yu Hakusho knowledge is on par with my Dragon Ball Z knowledge. The only thing is that they're less popular, but I mean, I'll definitely do more Yu Yu Hakusho videos. It's just that I don't get as many topics. But definitely, Dragon Ball Z is a great show. Will always be. I mean, I'll probably make videos until I'm in my 80s. Alright. I looked on your videos before asking, what if Goku went Super Saiyan during the fight with Nappa? I mean, his friend's death should push him Super Saiyan. Would he be a weaker Super Saiyan? That's my... Thanks. My username is Echo1922 YouTube. Okay. The thing is this. I don't think Goku could turn Super Saiyan that early because he's not strong enough. I think you have to have a certain power before you can go into a Super Saiyan. Now, some people could say, well, you can turn Super Saiyan early, like they would say Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. probably weren't as strong as Goku because they gave them like a power level of like a 500, which I find ridiculous. But considering the fact that Goku Jr. was beating up like a strong werewolf as a Super Saiyan was nothing. So I say that I just say that GT just messed up with that. I don't think Goku can turn Super Saiyan that early, but if he could, I mean, Nappa and Vegeta wouldn't have stood a chance. Hey Qaaman, what do you think would have happened if Goku stayed dead in the Cell Saga and Gohan became protector of the Earth? Well, I mean, that kind of happened for 7 years. The only exception was obviously when Boo came around and Goku came to visit. I think if Gohan stayed a protector, he wouldn't be that strong, and then at some point, maybe after like dozens of years, Piccolo would surpass Gohan, and then because Gohan would keep declining and Piccolo would keep getting stronger, and Vegeta would definitely be the strongest. Trunks and Goten would probably be the strongest characters. They probably never learn fusion unless Goku comes back, but if they do, they'd probably be the strongest. But that's ultimately my opinion. I don't think Gohan would have taken it that serious, but he would still be way stronger than the average villain to come to the Earth, unless they're way stronger than him, like Majin Buu. And if then the Supreme Kai could come and, you know, train him and take him to get his powers unlocked by the Elder Kai. So I think this is a really good question. Who would win, Super Saiyan Goku or Bojack? It depends what time you're talking about. If you're talking about when Goku punched him from like the afterlife, I'm gonna have to say Bojack. I think he just got a good blow. I mean, if I remember correctly, Vegeta got some decent blows on Bojack too, but he was still getting his ass kicked. So I'm gonna have to go with Bojack. I don't think Goku was strong enough at that point to have gotten past Bojack. Considering the fact that it's implied that, you know, the Bojack movie took place so little after the defeat of Cell. Is Gogeta canon? Because I think he is not. I'm not sure because he only appears in the movie and he doesn't appear in the series. Technically, Gogeta is not canon. However, he does theoretically exist, and what I mean by he does theoretically exist is that if you do fuse Goku and Vegeta with the Potara fusion, it is possible that Gogeta could be the outcome. It's just that they never actually did it in the actual manga, but I do think Gogeta does theoretically exist. Suck me off? No, sorry. Do you ever play games from NBA Live series, or how does it compare to NBA 2K? I actually had NBA Live 2006, way back in the day when Dwayne Wade was on the cover, and you know I'm obviously a huge Miami Heat fan, and that was basically the last NBA Live game I had. I never really bought any NBA Live games. I got for a while. The next NBA game I had gotten, I kind of went on a hiatus without buying NBA games, but I was still watching like the shows and stuff. But then the next game I bought was NBA 2K12 for the Wii, and then I didn't buy 13, but then I bought 14, and then I recently bought 15, maybe a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago. Actually, now I think about it, yeah, it's a couple months ago I bought 2K15. So yeah, I thought NBA Live was great, but I mean 2K is just like the more popular thing now, and considering the fact that I have a PC and I game with my PC using an Xbox controller, I think 2K is like the thing to have now. Growing up, what were you more excited for, Christmas or your birthday? Well, my birthday is May 11th. I'm not afraid to say that because I've made birthday specials. Honestly, Christmas, because my birthday is May 11th, occasionally, here's something funny, occasionally my birthday falls on Mother's Day, so sometimes when my birthday's on Mother's Day, people didn't really care that much about like my birthday because it was like Mother's Day. Like I might get a couple presents, but like I wasn't the primary interest because my birthday was on Mother's Day. But that was only whenever Mother's Day would fall on a Sunday, so I've probably only had my birthday on a Sunday maybe 2 or 3 times. I don't even remember. When it pertains to my birthday, however, I mean, I'd get gifts, but like Christmas, I always looked forward to it because Christmas was always on like a winter break where I was off, and my birthday always falls when the school semester was about to end. So because like May is near the end of every school semester if you live in the United States, which, you know, obviously that was like my primary place in addition to, you know, going to Antarctica every now and then. So obviously the United States, because of, you know, my birthday falling on you know near May, it really was like in the middle of nowhere, so I would have to say Christmas. This was a pretty interesting question that wasn't too personal. I don't mind answering questions that are on the surface with my personal information. Alright, did Frieza really knock Goku under lava in their fight, or was it water? Because it's hard to tell from the manga. Very good question, Mr. Proto Man. I have actually asked myself the same question. It's implied from the anime that it was lava, but I mean, to be completely honest with you, Mr. Proto Man, I think it was water. And the reason I say is I don't remember the panel, but if you really look at the manga clip, the way Goku fell in and like the effect of him hitting, like, you know, the liquid itself, it looked like it was water that was pushing up. So I'm gonna have to say water. And by the way, if it was lava, I mean, I know that Saiyans are super durable, but I mean, lava, I don't know, I think Goku would have looked a lot more messed up, so I'm gonna have to say water. But a very good question, Mr. Proto Man. Half Saiyans can't become Super Saiyan 4 and females can't become Super Saiyans. Alright, so you just clearly don't care about what I said in the video. I respect your opinion. I just wish you gave more reasoning. Blackenfist is a solid man. I already answered this earlier. Fat Boo versus Hachiyak. Oh, Fat Boo. Hands down. Hands down. It's not even close. Because Hachiyak was destroyed by Goku, Future Trunks, and Gohan and the rest of the gang. Like, you know, all of those guys, like, you know, near like the Cell Saga. You know, and like that was like around the time that Goku said this guy's stronger than Broly. So we're assuming that took place in the 10-day gap because that's the only point in time where that special could have taken place. So because of that, I'm gonna have to say Hachiyak hands down. It's not even close. Vegeta Saiyan Saga versus Mewtwo. Oh, come on, Vegeta. In Dragon Ball Multiverse, all dynamics fused into one. If the Saiyan would be able to do that, and if they did, do you think they could beat Beerus or Whis, or would they need to Super Saiyan 1 or Super Saiyan 2 if they could? P.S. The fusion counts Goku, Vegeta, Goku, Goten, Trunks, and all the other Saiyans. I mean, this is a pretty interesting question. If they could all fuse, maybe, but I mean, you gotta think that most Saiyans are so weak. I mean, so, excuse me for my French, most Saiyans are so fucking weak compared to Goten, Trunks, and the rest of the other Saiyans. It's like, it's not even, like, it's basically like saying you have 6 strong guys and like a bunch of ants. Now, I know that if you add them all up, you know, they'd be really strong. But I mean, I remember reading somewhere that it was implied there weren't even that many Saiyans on Planet Vegeta when it blew up either way. You know, so I'm gonna have to say that Beerus and Whis would still be stronger. But I mean, if they could go Super Saiyan God, it's not even close. What if Future Gohan never lost his arm and only fought against one android at a time? Do you think the anime Future Gohan could have been killed, or could have been beaten or killed by one of them if he fought one at a time and had both of his arms? Have a great day. I want you to watch the very first Dragon Ball Z segment that I ever made. What if... I'm sorry, it was why wasn't Future Gohan stronger? And basically in that video I talked about that I think he should have been stronger than what, you know, the actual series portrayed him to be. Because here's the thing. In the manga, Future Gohan was way weaker than what the history of Trunks Pro showed him to be. He went up only against Android 17 as it's implied, and 17 said, oh, I used less than half my power the last time I fought you, and then the next thing you know, we see Gohan lying dead. And 18's laughing because she knows that Gohan's gonna get killed. Future Gohan was way weaker than just Android 17 if we're going by the manga, so that's one thing. The anime made him seem like he could hold his own, and the anime also made it seem like the androids were going out against him when they both double teamed him. So even with one arm, I don't really think it would have made that much of a difference, because here's the thing, Gohan had gotten his Zenkai boost since the last time that they had fought the androids, based off of the history of Trunks. So I think even without that arm, he was still theoretically stronger, even though he had one arm. So that's my opinion. Great question, my friend. Blackenfist is, oh, what's up with these Blackenfist Salad Man questions? I have to tell Blackenfist about the Salad Man. Alright, Mr. Satan versus Bora. Oh man, Bora would destroy Mr. Satan. It's not even close. The guy was taking bullets for his son. Yajirobe versus Tao. Oh, Tao, no question. Yajirobe's not that much of a fighter. I mean, he is, but I mean, he's weak. Hey Qaaman, this is Rokosoka. I sent you a PM about appearing in a debate segment with you a while ago. Is it possible to use Google Plus, or does it have to be Skype? Also, please send me a pre-PM. Yes, Rokosoka, I'm sorry. A lot of you have been sending me requests to do debate. Sorry, guys. It's just that whenever I see your message and I go back on my messaging, your messages literally get like lost in a flood, and I have to dig back like weeks to find it. But I'll try to remember. All right. Let me do a quick time check. Oh, 35 minutes. Alright, I'm just going to do 3 more questions. During the Buu Saga, what if Babidi knew where Trunks' house was? What if Goku didn't tell Trunks to get the radar and didn't stop him because he was confident he could bring Bulma's parents back to life if they got killed by Buu, and continue to teach Goten and Trunks the fusion technique? If Babidi knew where Trunks' house was, that would screw up the whole thing, because he could like basically just like interrogate them, and Goku could come to try and help. But I mean, if you really think about it, knowing Babidi, he'd probably like try to kill Trunks as an example, and you know, doing that would really screw up the whole Dragon Ball situation. So I think you're pretty much on the nail when you say he was confident he could bring Bulma's parents back to life. I mean, killing them, that would really mess up everything. But this was a pretty interesting question, and you know, if that happens, they can never fuse, and that would mean that Goku would probably have to take Buu out himself. Alright, are you the legendary Super Swine? No, Masquerade, I'm not a swine. I'm a Saiyan. Alright, and this is, actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to answer the next 2 because they're quick. What video editing software do you use? I use Camtasia, if you can see my little thing here. So yeah, that's my video editing software. Welcome to the Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? Yes, I know exactly where you got that from. You got that from, you either got it from Keenan and Kel or All That. I haven't seen that show in a long time, but I think that's where that's from. Somebody correct me in the comment section, but I think that's from the show called All That. So yeah, that's where I think you got it from. Best basketball movie you've ever seen? I think it was Blue Chips. I think that's what it was, with Blue Chips. I think Shaq was in it. That was a pretty good movie, talking about like athletes who were in college and stuff. So that's a pretty interesting question. I thank you guys for watching this questionnaire. I went a little bit over time, but I hope you guys enjoy it. And most importantly, over everything else, please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.